next three pieces are also blown glass. The style is called Marini. Originated on the Marini coast of Italy somewhere around 400 AD, the process involves extruding filaments of color in the upwards of 3 to 4 feet, and then finally on a tile saw, cutting them into each individual small flake. Each flake is then turned into a panel and rolled up on a blowpipe to produce the final piece. This one in particular has flakes of metal in it. It's called adventurine, is that black color that you see with its shiny black effect, with a beautiful red lip wrap. And the last component added to this piece in making it is that beautiful wrap of red. When they're shaped like a flower, the Italians call them millefiori, and that translates to 1,000,000 flowers in Italian, a small little window of flowers. And this piece in particular glows in the dark. When they're windows of square, the Italians call them occhi, which I thought would translate to window in Italian, but it actually translates to eye. And I think what they're trying to say is that the eye is the window to the soul. In addition to objects that are artistically pleasing, I like to make objects that are useful, and something that is valuable or invaluable changes based on the idea of you can use it or if it's pretty. My drinkware is some of my favorite things to make. Each one's a little canvas. The mugs, a cup with a handle, and the process of adding the iridization that you see in was originally started by the Italians but made very popular by an American artist named Tiffany. Tiffany figured out how to iridize glass through a process of reduction and matting with tin chloride, and these beautiful mugs as well as my drinkware are created in that same style. A lot of times as a glass artist we use molds to create our pieces. The mold that's used to create this dimpled effect on the outside of these is called a pineapple mold, and it has little fingers that you blow into the mold, and each of those fingers produce a beautiful little divot. Some of my work is not blown but pinched, and my shot glasses are one of those. The process not of blowing the glass but using a set of tweezers, like a little pinch pot that we used to make as kids in clay. This is created in that same style. I travel a lot, and along my travels I pick up things. My cousin does cleanup at the NASCAR Speedway, and this is a NASCAR lug nut. It's been added to the side of the cup, and this was actually in a race in June in Las Vegas. In addition, I do a lot of climbing, and these are carabiners that I figured out how to add to the glass, and they actually still work in that you can clip them onto your belt and use them while you're climbing. Grandpa at an early age taught me how to take apart a bullet. It was a 50 caliber military bullet, and he got in a lot of trouble with my dad that night, but I remembered that process at 8 of pulling a bullet apart, and I kept that bullet later on in life, making a cup out of it for him, and now my 50 caliber shot cups are some of my most popular sellers. So I'm a glass artist that's been working with the material for over 15 years, and what I love about it is its endless possibilities. One of the first glass blowers in America, Harvey Littleton, said that he was driven by the endless possibilities of glass, and I too feel like I'm an artist in that direction. I love making sculptural objects out of glass, and being able to work with a material and create a dialogue in a sculptural format is one of my favorite things to do. Many of my sculptures are my most playful objects. The turtle has always been one of my favorite objects, both in life. We used to have box turtles, as well as I was a Ninja Turtle growing up. And so creating these turtles involved the process of first figuring out how to make their shell. And a mold made out of graphite that I made creates the shell before finally adding all the appendages. They're playful and fun, and they just have this really childlike ability to them to produce something that's fun and entertaining. The child, or the young one as they call him, Groku, has been one of my most popular sellers over the last little bit, and creating this little green character is a fun object to make. Building sculpturally from a hollow body and adding appendages through the process of creating individual pieces has been a lot of fun. The golf guy is one of my favorites, and the ball actually glows in the dark, and we can use a black light here to see its glowing ability. Atlas was carrying the world on his shoulders, and I feel like carrying that love of golf is something that we as golfers carry on our shoulders as well. A seasonality to the work as well. The snowman has been one of my best sellers in the winter times, as well as the Christmas trees. And oftentimes as an artist we produce things with a little bit of seasonality to them. The snowmen are created, and each of the little pieces, the hat, the golf club, the scarf are all added on in the process of making. And so each one has its own individuality because each has got its own individual pieces. The Christmas tree is created first by creating the core of the piece. I gather up the green glass or blue glass and finally get to coat it in a beautiful coat of clear glass before putting it into a mold, and then spending almost 10 to 15 minutes cutting in each of those individual shapes of the tree to produce a final tree shape. Oftentimes it's not what you can make, it's how you make it, and learning these processes is the exciting part for me.